Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome back to the Midnight Memo. My name is Claire.
And I'm Kristen.
And we're so happy to have you with us.
Yes.
And
how dumb do you think we look holding these mics? I just see
I
my
don't know.
white ass hand
I
against
thought you were going to say my white ass mic.
I mean, yeah. But it's just, one, I'm blind. And two, in the viewfinder, I can't even tell where my mic begins and where the background ends.
That's true.
So it just looks like I have a fist just floating in the middle of me.
I don't know. Maybe we're too far away to see it. I feel like you probably could see it.
I'm going to try to hide my hand under the bottom. We'll see how this works.
Okay. Yeah. But today, we thought we would do the fun game everyone loves, Would You Rather?
We've kind of done something similar to this before, but not. Like we did it was this or that. I think that's what we did. Which is kind of like the same concept, but like not. I think that was back when we were recording we were in my closet.
Oh my gosh. We were in the closet and
yeah. You see, guys, back before we had video, Claire and I would record in my closet.
Back in the old days.
Because we didn't know how to we still don't know how to use mics. Exhibit A, we are holding our table mics.
Yeah, guys, we're a year into recording and podcasting, and still we find it very difficult to figure out the proper settings for anything.
Literally anything.
We probably should take a class or something, but it's fine. You know what? This is authentic.
Very, very authentic. Very authentic.
So we found just some Would You Rather questions, mostly on TikTok.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
The one and only TikTok that we find all of our information on.
Literally. Okay, Claire, do you want to give us some prompts?
Yeah. We're just going to hop right into it. Oh,
please
hold on. We have a musical interlude.
We have some woo-woos in the background. I live very close to the freeway in downtown Seattle.
I see it right now.
Can you see the lights? Oh, yep, I see him. I also see a bus that's about to definitely get derailed. Anyways.
Okay. Would you rather meet your great-grandparents or meet your great-grandchildren?
Great-grandparents.
I was going to say, I feel like this one's really easy for you because we already know one thing.
I ain't having kids.
She don't want no kids.
I don't want...
So having no kids means having no grandkids.
I only got one.
Yeah, one option for you.
If you ask me about like my great-grandnieces and nephews, on the other hand... No, that doesn't change it very much. My great-grandparents, I think they were pimps as hell.
Pimps?
I think my great-grandparents were low-key pimps.
What?
I have a theory that they were low.
Okay.
So my great-grandma was a picture bride. So she had to be ballin' hot. You know what I'm saying? She had to be hella hot.
And for those who don't know what a picture bride is.
Oh, yes. It's basically back in the day where people usually... Actually, is it specifically... It's more of an Asian culture thing, right? Usually. But it's like some type of... It's usually foreign.
Yeah.
Generally speaking.
It's usually from countries outside of the U.S., I'll say.
Yeah, I think that...
Outside of like... Or even the continent, like...
Outside of your country, at least. At least your immediate country. So it's basically where it's... Think of like Amazon shopping, but for your bride. In a really fucked up sense back in the day. But it's a picture. You don't get anything else.
Yeah.
You get like... I don't know how they did it back in the day. If it was a booklet or what. But it was basically... Somehow, some way, someone has a catalog of eligible women and their metrics, statistics about them. Basically, as you can quantify a woman, which is really messed up. And then eligible bachelors look at the picture and their description. Basically, like their Tinder profile, but like in really messed up metrics that someone else does.
Yeah.
And then you order your picture bride and it gets flown to you.
It's kind of like
and
90 Day Fiance, but like instead of getting to know them for 90 days, it's just a done deal.
Yeah, basically.
Which I'm wondering, how do you get into that? Is it like, does your family set it up, or is it who's like, I will become a picture bride?
For my great grandpa, I know for his point of view, he was, oh gosh, was he the oldest? If I'm remembering correctly, he was the oldest, and all of his younger siblings had even gotten married at this point, and his parents were kind of like, you're in your 40s, you need to be married, you need to have a family, you need to settle the fuck down.
You need to get your shit together a little bit, I think.
Which, back in the day, this is what? Early 1900s? I don't remember.
Yeah.
This is way, way, way back in the day. So they were very traditional family. So they were like, yeah, settle down, have a fucking family. You need to not be doing so much. Mm-hmm. So his parents set it up.
Okay.
So I know that.
Interesting.
Or they like...
So they somehow were like, we'll find you a wife, basically. But then from your great-grandmother's side, how did she end up being in like a catalog?
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know that. I'd have to ask my dad. Because that's his grandma and he knows more about it from her.
Yeah. I'd like to know.
Yeah.
Kelly, please
we'll have to loop in Kelly.
We're going to tag Kelly in the comments. Kelly, we're going to need some explanations.
I'm pretty sure my dad has I don't think he's listened to anyone, and if he has, I think he's listened to the first episode. So that would be hilarious to suddenly tag him in it now.
Kelly, first of all, fake fan. Second of all, no, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I don't mean to roast you.
No, she's not.
No, I'm so sorry.
You're still my dad's favorite, especially after his orphan joke. He still brings it up, and he's like, I embarrassed myself so much, and I'm like, yeah, but Claire's a good sport about it. Yeah, exactly. And he's like, I know, that's why.
I love that.
We do reminisce about it quite frequently.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Gab's heard the story like at least 6 times from my dad.
But he has to act like it's interesting.
Exactly. Every time. It's fresh every single time. You want to get in? You have to fake it till you make it, buddy.
Exactly. I feel like I'd be the same.
Really?
Where I'd want to meet my great grandparents, because
I really would have thought that went the opposite way for you.
I'm thinking about it as, well, it's hard because at what age would we be meeting them? Like, would it be...
Oh, like Zap current you meets.
Yeah. Like, would it be like,
okay.
I'm meeting my grandparents as old people? Or am I meeting them as like young adults? Or same question goes for...
You and I overthink these things way too much.
But
we need so many limits. We need constrictions.
There are no parameters to these questions. And so I'm like, well, if I meet my great-grandchildren, I'm thinking just straight out the womb. Like, then I don't... That's not interesting. Yeah. They're just blobs.
Yeah, like, no offense, how is it different from any other freshborn baby at that point? Other than, genetically you share blood.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, that wouldn't be interesting. Like, I can't talk to them. I can stare at them.
That's fair. How many great-grandchildren do you think you'll have? How far do you think you're going to multiply?
That's a question that I have not thought about. Hopefully at least one. 1 plus.
Greater than or equal to 1?
Yes. Final answer. But yeah, I think I would want to meet my great-grandparents, because from all the stories that I hear about them, they are some funny characters.
What do you mean stories you hear? Because do you hear stories about your parents? Do you know a lot of stories? You mean you're not talking about biologically.
No,
I just put this together.
I am not talking biologically.
Because we're talking about children, so I was thinking the biology way, and I was like, how would you know? Okay, backtracking. Okay, so you want to meet your great-grandparents. Okay, got it.
Yeah, because they're apparently very amazing people. So
I don't doubt it. Your grandma was a boss.
She was.
I can only imagine how her parents were.
Oh, her parents were freaking awesome. Like, I hear all these stories about them. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah.
They're good people, and now I can't live up to that, but it's fine.
Yeah. That's true.
And I also think that they would have really, like, I'm assuming that we meet them at their old age, so I feel like they'd have really cool stories to tell.
I would think so too.
And then I think they would stare at me and be like, are we related? How did that happen?
Like, look, this is your great-grandkid, and they're gonna be like,
are you sure?
The future's weird.
Like, I don't know what twists and turns got us here.
Do you think you would have like dark thought?
I know what you're thinking as well,
because that's the conspiracy with my family, so I wonder if it would be the same for you.
I don't know. Well,
anyways.
The next one, would you rather have more money or have more time?
Money.
Same.
Yeah,
because guys, listen, we're here for a good time, not a long time. You know what I mean?
Because Claire thinks she's gonna die by what is it?
60. That's the cutoff.
I hate that you always say this. I hate it so much. Mine was a lot nicer, but okay, damn.
Well, I think overall too, it's like you want to take advantage of the time that you have.
If I had it
and live in the moment. Yeah. And then like if you had more money, you would be able to experience more.
You could buy your time back. You wouldn't need to waste your time working.
Literally.
That's how I think of it.
Wouldn't have to sit at a desk from 9 to 5 every single day.
If I had money where I wouldn't need to work, I would have all the time I need to do the things I want.
Exactly. So I agree with you on that one.
And this goes back to, I think it was last week's episode of like, would you want to live forever? If you bought back if you had all the time, right? I don't know if it's also a scary thing. Sometimes I have time and I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, but if you had money, you could, like, because I know that you want to travel, you know, you want to experience a lot of the different areas of the world.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you have free time and you just aren't doing anything, it's not because, I mean, sometimes you do need to rest and stuff like that. But a lot of it is very constrained by, like, what am I able to do right now? And unfortunately, in our society, money kind of rules everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you had enough money, you could buy a private jet. You could go on a vacation. You could do whatever you want.
We could get world peace. Yeah. Claire was talking about that earlier.
World peace.
I was asking her some unrelated question, and she was like world peace? And I was like, what are you doing? So I just had to bring it back to that.
Yeah. I'm always on, it always reminds me of Miss Congeniality.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, harsher punishment for gun control. and world peace. Yep.
Iconic.
We love her. Okay, next one. Would you rather have a life rewind button or have a life pause button?
Pause.
I don't know. That's a hard one.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is it hard?
Well, because there are a lot of times, I think there have been a lot of moments in my life where I wish I could pause and stay in that moment forever.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, if I were to do that, then that moment would lose its meaning.
That's true.
And it wouldn't be as special as it was.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, rewind. If you were to rewind, does that mean you're able to basically change the future? Like if I messed up in 6th grade and I want to rewind, that would just lead me down a whole new life path, which I don't know if I would want that either.
That's what I'm thinking of the rewind button, which is why I didn't want to choose it, which is why by default I just chose pause, because I mean, like, we all got regrets. We all want to do things differently.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's anything that I would do differently enough where I would want to redo it. And when I redo it, if there's anything I want to redo that badly, I feel like it would have a dramatic shift. It would do some type of dramatic change.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I want that for myself necessarily.
Yeah.
So I don't think I would want... That's just too much responsibility. The thought of, like, changing your whole... Like, no.
Yeah.
Can't be responsible for that.
I'm
not a responsible person.
I resonate with that, yes.
Not responsible.
I think I would go with the rewind button, but with a caveat of only letting it be a rewind for like a minute.
Oh, do you think you can do enough with a minute?
Probably. Like if I accidentally hit something off the counter and it shatters, like rewind, move the cup. You know?
Okay, so we're not okay.
You know, like
nothing life changing, no real decisions, just like dumb little flubs.
Yeah,
I see. Okay,
yeah, I think I would
get behind
do that. So I would do the rewind, but not like rewind my whole life.
Yeah.
Like
okay, I could get behind that.
Here and there, like, oh, stepped in dog shit. Rewind. Now I know it's there. Do something different.
That's true.
But
okay. Yeah, I could get behind the rewind for that.
Mm-hmm.
How you were talking about if you pause and the moment loses its value. If we put the same caveat on pause, I think that would be ideal. Of like just pause it for a snapshot of, I don't know what's an appropriate amount of time, but like not forever and ever and ever, just like a little bit longer. Extendo time.
Yeah.
But not like crazy amounts.
But if you like used rewind over and over and over again, would that be the same thing as pause?
That's true.
Because you could rewind and then do the exact same thing.
That's true. Yeah, I would say so then. I would say that could encapsulate, because pause, it's like you have to think quick enough to stop something from happening. Whereas rewind, it's like you already did the thing, you know it's wrong, quick, rechange.
Yeah.
So in that case, then I would pick rewind over pause.
Okay.
If those are the caveats.
All right.
But yeah, first instinct was definitely pause. I was like, no responsibility.
Okay. This one, I love this question.
Oh,
okay.
no, I know.
Would you rather?
Like this question.
I think you will. Would you rather know all the world's languages or be able to speak to animals? I feel like this is a good one.
No, all the world's languages.
Yeah. For me, it's hands down.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have thought you would think about that more.
No. Because to be honest, like, all animals, like, you could hear all the birds. You could hear all of, like, the small, really kind of inconvenient animals that are just around you every day. And I'd be like, shut up.
Well, okay, it says you could understand, but doesn't mean you have to listen to them. It's like you can understand English, but you don't hear fucking everyone in the building talking.
You don't?
Oh.
I feel like that's my ADHD brain. It's like, even when I'm having conversations.
You're not having hyper hearing, it's understanding. That's the difference.
Yeah. Like,
okay, wait, continue.
For some reason, my brain has a very hard time concentrating on one thing at a time. So I always have to like work with headphones and like I can't listen to music with words in it because otherwise I'll start listening to the words rather than like reading the article I'm supposed to be reading.
Same.
So same thing happens with conversations. Like if we were in a restaurant right now and I was talking to you, but we were close to another table.
Yeah.
I would have a hard time focusing on our conversation because I would be listening to their conversation.
Yeah.
But that happens with literally all the tables around us. So I'm trying to listen to like 5 different conversations. But
damn, you can't multitask that?
No.
Oh, I love
it's
doing
really
that.
weird. I can't.
I love doing that.
It all just sounds like yelling in my head.
My poor partner, I will just like randomly respond to like someone else's conversation, like in the middle of our conversation. I'll be like, okay, wait, quick pause. Let me catch you up to the tea I've been listening to.
Yes. And also, when you go to the nail salon, I just need to know what they're saying
That's
about
fair.
me.
Mm-hmm.
I know they're talking shit.
Wow, my answer, the reason I got to my answer was just so much more simple.
What was your reasoning?
Okay, my dog's a giant bitch. And I know she has my attitude, and there's a reason I don't want to have children. They can talk back. Mm-hmm. So if she could actually talk back to me, fuck that. Mm-hmm. No. That's why I have a dog and not a child. So.
Yeah.
That's why I would rather learn languages.
Yeah. And you would be able to travel so much more easily.
Exactly.
Like, you could
it's
go
just more
anywhere.
applicable. Yeah. Like, to actual things that I would want to do with my life.
Exactly, yeah.
So.
For sure. Hello. If you're hearing this, that means we have found a break in our trains of thought. I know. Kind of crazy. Like our podcast isn't chaotic or something like that. Anyway, this week we have a sponsor for this episode, and our sponsor is Newsly. And you're probably wondering, what is Newsly? Well, Newsly is an all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android. It picks up the most trending articles on the web on topics you choose at any given moment and reads them to you in a natural human voice. For the first time, the entire web becomes listenable, all in one place. So you can stop scrolling and start listening. You can follow any topic as specific as you'd want, from sports to business to Bitcoin, or even the Kardashians. And they have podcasts as well. Explore trending podcasts from over 80 countries. Our podcast, The Midnight Memo, will be there too. Make sure to check them out. Download and use Newsly for free now from www.newsly.me or from the link we have down in our description. You can also use the promo code TMM for 1 month of free premium subscription. That is right. So make sure to go check us out on the Newsly app. You will not regret it. And now back to the podcast. Would you rather no one show up to your wedding or no one show up to your funeral? This is a great question. Because I don't have an answer right off the bat. And I usually feel like I have an inkling one way or another.
Yeah. I think this goes back to our afterlife episode. If I believe in the afterlife, where I would be able to see what goes down after you pass away, I think I would rather no one show up to my wedding, honestly. Because then I could just elope, save a fuck ton of money, and just have a party unrelated. But in my head, it's about me getting married.
Mm-hmm. So I think I would agree with you. I think that, yeah, you could go to a courthouse or whatever, get married.
Depends how you view a wedding, I think. I think that's what that comes down to.
Yeah, I think for a lot of girls, I think they dream about their wedding from a very young age. Not me.
Yeah. I just want to have a lit ass party. I care more about the reception, honestly. Like, I mean, of course, I still want the ceremony to be pretty, me. But that's for me.
Yeah.
You know, like at that point, it's not about all the other bitches. Honestly, like,
yeah,
it's not about everyone else at that point. But it's about me.
Yeah, there is a lot of people say though, like the wedding isn't for you; it's for your family.
Exactly.
So I kind of, I
if
can
you
see
think
that
about it that way. Yeah.
So I would agree.
Yeah.
Because if no one shows up to your funeral,
that's sad.
It's like basically how I view funerals. I view them as like a celebration of life, and so if no one shows up to celebrate your life and or whatever legacy that you decide to leave, like that means you didn't leave a mark on anyone, you know, and that's sad.
I agree completely.
Yeah, I would definitely rather people not show up to my wedding. Yeah. Like no one.
To be clear, I would want people to show up to my wedding in real life.
Listen here, friends and family, do not take this to heart.
This so you will be receiving. I had to make a decision.
Yeah, you will be receiving invites. Not anytime soon.
Not anytime soon.
Would you rather go through life not being able to forget anything or go through life not being able to remember anything?
Oh, not being able to forget.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'd rather have my memories, even if they
are dark and twisty.
Yeah, I'd rather have my memes because, okay, I don't know if you feel this way too, but like sometimes when people tell me of something I've done, but like in a good memory, be like, oh, remember that time we did, and I'm like, wow, that sounds wonderful. I don't remember that. That hurts so bad for me. Like I hate it. I really hate it. And I feel like, I mean, I wouldn't say I have a great memory, but I don't think my memory's that bad. So like, and this usually happens with AJ. You know, AJ, like one of my friends literally has whatever's photographic memory, but for like all things that happen in your life, he has that. And so he'll like often remind me of like things that we've done or whatever, and I will like vaguely remember it, and I know I have fondness to the memory, but he'll call out like details and I'm like reliving it. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. So I would want to have that.
Yeah,
I feel like you remember the dark stuff anyways, more vividly than you remember the good stuff, unfortunately. So I already have the shitty stuff. I might as well improve the memory of the good
dabbles
stuff.
of lightness in there.
Exactly. I don't know.
Yeah. I think I agree, because I think having the memories is what makes you you.
Yeah.
It's what forms your personality, and whatever, like, your subconscious will react a certain way to different situations because it learns from the previous time that same thing happened to you. Like, that's how you learn, that's how you grow. And so not being able to remember anything, you wouldn't really be a person, I don't think. So,
or you'd always be a first instinct. You'd always be operating in like
fight or flight.
Because you don't have any, like you said, like anything to operate off of as like pretext. And I don't want to live like that, bro.
No, life is already hard enough. Okay, so the text on here so fucking small. I'm like trying to squint.
I literally cannot. Also, okay, this is a little late, but we literally could have moved this table closer, so we could have left this on there.
Kristen, you're fired.
Well, we're on a great tangent.
Okay, last and final question. Would you rather spend your whole life traveling, not being able to settle down, or would you rather spend your whole life not being able to leave the town you are in right now?
Oh, first one then.
I don't know, because I feel like I'm a very homebody person.
Yeah.
But I also get very bored. I don't know. Listen, I rearrange my bedroom every 3 months.
That's
I need change.
Yeah.
So, I mean, okay, here's a cheesy line. Home is where the heart is. So kind of like wherever, if you're with people that were traveling with you.
That's what I was thinking. Is I was like, if I'm moving all the time to places that I want to see anyways, I'm sure I could convince friends who I have to be like, hey, I'm this month staying in the Maldives. I'm sure someone would come visit me.
Yeah.
Or if I'm moving around all the time, I could go visit them. I just won't stay there the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
And I feel like, okay, so another caveat to the question, how long?
Yeah, exactly. How long
is it before you settle down somewhere?
Definitely shorter than a year, but I don't think it would be shorter than a month.
I don't know.
Is how I think of that.
When I first moved to San Francisco, everyone was telling me it takes 2 years minimum to make some place feel like your home.
Okay.
Where you have a network of people, where you feel comfortable where you're living.
I see. So full, actual, not settle your shit's set up. Settle as your routine, as your life, as your, I see.
So if that was a marker for settling down, so they said it takes at least 2 years.
So less than 2 years in a place.
Yeah.
That's more than enough time for me.
Yeah, I feel like that would be a good amount of time.
I agree.
But it just would always, for me, I think the hard part would be continuously having to set up a new network of people.
Yeah.
Because, again, I'm introverted and I don't like people that much. So putting myself out there all the time, I think, would get really hard.
Do you think it would get easier, though? If you had to, right, in this scenario?
I don't know.
Continuously do it?
It's kind of like one of those...
Or would you just avoid it
make
altogether?
Make or break things. Or, that's not the right term. It's a...
No, make or break works.
It doesn't?
You either
do it or you don't.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. And I don't know if by the 5th, I think I would at first be motivated to be okay, go out, make friends, try to find a community that you like to be a part of. But then by the 10th time, would I still have the same amount of motivation to do that? But I honestly think that a lot of people could relate to that, because if you grew up having parents in the army or whatever, you had to move around all the time. So I think if you grew up doing that, then it's a different set of skills that you already have. But if you're asking me right now to do it, I'd be like, I don't know, because people scare me.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's true. I feel like you usually adjust, at least from what I've seen from your couple moves. I feel like you're definitely a type of person where you can find a network not very easily, but you seem to get a system set up, and you seem like you're doing well, and you're situated and everything.
Maybe.
Even if it doesn't feel like it immediately.
Yeah.
I feel like you find a good set of roots. So I think even if you don't feel like it's easy, you do. So I think maybe just the hardness of overthinking about this, having to do the thing, would get easier, I would think.
Maybe. I'd like to think that. Yeah. But so roundabout way of saying, if I had to choose, I would travel.
Same.
But I think it would be hard for me. But it would be harder to stay. So.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. The more dark way I think of that is thinking of growing, no disrespect to where I grew up. Love my friends and fam, but like how we started the episode kind of indirectly. Like, I saw a Facebook post of someone from back in high school. Haven't caught up with them since, gosh, maybe sophomore, junior year was the last time I talked to them. So I don't know what they're up to. And then saw their life story on Facebook. Like, I can't, or even sometimes when I talk with friends back home, and it just like, you stay very much in the bubble.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah, there is a crazy, I don't know, way that you see people when you've known them their whole lives.
Yeah.
Like staying in a town where you grew up with everyone, and then to go, like, we've moved away from our hometowns and we can go back to visit and enjoy the time there. But then you also see the people who have stayed there their whole lives. And it's just, you see them in a different light at that point, I think, because it just seems like there's not as much, like, I feel like this is very shady. It's going to sound really, really
I know
shady.
what you're trying to say without being shady.
And I don't mean it in that way. It's just sometimes when you don't move or grow from where you grew up, it's like you're just staying stagnant, like there's no personal growth. Or it doesn't seem like from the outside perspective that there's a lot of growth going on. And that is very different from, say, you grow up, you move away for a while, and then you can come back and live there again. Like, I think that's different than
I think it's
just staying in the same place for your whole life. But some people do that and they really enjoy it. So I don't know. I could just be stirring the pot for shits and gigs.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I feel like growing up in Hawaii, I feel like there was definitely two schools of thoughts. People who were like, I'm never leaving here because the outside world, the mainland's scary as hell, which I definitely resonate with. And I definitely felt that way back then. I still do often. I question why I moved. Don't get me started. I agree. But there's also the other side of the coin where people were either like, I'm never gonna leave here, like I love it here, I'm never gonna leave here. Very valid. I do agree with them. And then people who are like, get me the, like, island fever, get me the fuck off this rock. I need to see something. It's a great big world out there, you know. Like, I need to see something else, which is kind of what I felt. And then I had my first winter and I was like, why the fuck did I do that?
It's always like, oh my gosh, snow for the first hour, and then you're like, why hasn't it
stopped? And then it goes on for 6 more months in Spokane, and you're like, why the fuck did I do that?
Literally. Yeah. I think we're both in the mindset of, we would rather see what's out there and not regret not taking advantage of that opportunity than stay in the same place. Like, I often think about moving back to San Diego. Like, and I grew up there, I love it there, but when you grow up in the same place, it's like, I want to see what else is out there, because as much as I love this place, and I would not love it. Like, I know I love it. What if there's another place out there that I love even more? You know? And
it's kind of like a grass is greener thing. Like, you're constantly searching of like, is it better out there? And when you have somewhere that you've grown up and you have roots somewhere else, like hometown, it's, in a fucked up way, a lot easier to just like kind of walk away from it and be like, okay, I know I have this safe spot to land. I know I love it here, but like, let's explore Dora. Let's look somewhere else. Let's see if I can do better. This usually doesn't apply to other parts of your life.
Yes, guys.
But in this specific scenario, you can, when it comes to moving from place to place, I think you can adapt that way.
I agree.
Just why wouldn't you? If that's what you want, if you do want to see what else is out there, just why wouldn't you?
Because like you said, you always can come back. Like, there's no penalty for coming back, like going back to Oahu or like going back to San Diego, but at least like you saw what else there is to offer.
You are like choosing this place now. It's not like
you didn't have the option. It's the thing of taking away options. Is like, you just feel so much worse about everything.
Exactly.
I think that's what like a bunch of life lessons are. Like, I don't want to, but like, don't take away the option.
Me. I want to be able to choose that.
All right. Well.
Wow.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
That was fun.
It was. I
want to do more, kind of, but like another time in a part 2. Another time in a part 2. That was fun though.
We should do ones that are like really like deep, you know, because I think some of these
could get really deep. We needed more limitations.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these were too broad for you and me as overthinker.
There's so many ways to interpret the one question.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. If you guys had different thoughts to any of the would you rathers, let us know.
If you have different limitations too, because I feel like we had to contort some of these to be able to make a decision.
Yeah.
So if you thought of it in a different way, let us know, because I would like to know. I'm intrigued how other people think of these.
Yeah. Well, we will see you next.
We will.
We will see y'all next Tuesday when our next episode comes out, and then Wednesday when our next YouTube video comes out. If you have not already, follow us on all of our social media. If you have not already, follow us on all of our social media platforms. They will be on the screen or somewhere in the description.
Gestures. Don't forget to download the Newsly app, where you can listen to all your favorite podcasts, including the Midnight Memo. If you use the code TMM, you can get 1 month of free premium subscription to be able to continuously listen to our lovely voices, which I know you want to.
Yes, we just have the voices of angels.
Anyways, and don't forget to leave us a review on Spotify Podcasts and Apple Podcasts, because it will. What will it do, Chris?
It would super help us out.
I'm canceled.
When people say we look alike and we get ourselves confused. Oh my gosh.
It's like looking at a mirror.
Yeah, guys, do we look alike? Not really.
I don't see it. I still don't see it.
With that being said, we hope you have a great morning, evening, afternoon, whenever you're listening to this podcast. And we will see you next time. Bye.